Good playgrounds should feel like part of the community with local features, trains, lifesaver huts, tractors and tank stands and sheepdogs running around. Playgrounds aren't just about having some fun. They're also about kids growing up and developing skills.
For us at Playworks, it's about giving the child a life experience.
I mentioned earlier that we're at East, who are the hosts of this week's show, and I've been fortunate enough to catch up with Matt Pembroke, who's the premiership winning captain of the A-grade side from 2015. Matt Pembroke, better known as Penny, I'll call you Penny. How are the celebrations after that final?
Yeah, really good, Tommy. Actually, we had a couple of days, obviously the grand final night, which was good back at the club. We traditionally come back here on the Sunday as well and have our own sort of silly Sunday things, as we call it. The numbers dwindled by early Monday. There was a few wounded soldiers, but we were also lucky enough to go up to Sunshine Coast at Moffat Beach, where one of the older club guys has a house up there, and spend a weekend there with the whole first grade team again, which was sort of the icing on the cake for the celebration. So yeah, really enjoyable time. And the No Undie Sunday tradition lives on? Yeah, it does. It rained pretty supreme, although the time seems to be getting closer to 11:30 when the undies start getting ripped. So yeah, no, it was good. And obviously it's a fair while in between that big off-season, start of the season this year with Tiger Turf Cup. Yeah, no, that was good. I unfortunately didn't play the Tiger Turf Cup here in Brisbane. I did hear the guys ended up losing in extra time to RYDE, who's we've got a bit of a partnership with down in Sydney. So they said, yeah, really good weekend in some quite hot and humid conditions. And RYDE, you mentioned before, have travelled up for the Tiger Turf Cup 3 years, and I believe East this year went down to RYDE this year to participate. What sort of competition do they run down there, Matt? Yeah, that was quite a good thing, I think, for our team bonding wise, and also from a hockey perspective. And again, East and RYDE were locked at 1-1 in the Niner side, and there was no extra time, so the rivalry still remains unsettled. And the complex in RYDE, I believe it's similar. Yeah, it is. It's actually fairly similar in physical characteristics to East as well. They're basically the turf, obviously, and then they've also got the clubhouse that looks over the top, and they've obviously got a nice bar up there. You can sort of sit down and look over the top of the field, which is really good. And speaking of which, Hockey Zone were fortunate enough to catch up with Tim Collier, part of the RYDE Association. Let's hear what Tim's got to say about the weekend.
We've been taking our men's first grade side to Brisbane for 4 years now as part of our pre-season preparations, and this year we were really excited to welcome East to Sydney to take part in a mini tournament that we had in pre-season. It also involved Sydney Uni and Goulburn. The RYDE won the Sydney Premiership last year and East won the Brisbane Premiership. Also opened up the opportunity to host a one-off Champions Challenge exhibition match, and that created a lot of interest down here, particularly from people really interested to see two of the best club teams in the country go at it. The match was played in great spirit and an incredibly high tempo, as you'd expect with interstate bragging rights up for grabs, and the result ended in a 1-1 draw. And the two teams have actually played each other 3 times over the last 3 weeks, once up in Brisbane at the Tiger Turf Cup and twice in Sydney, and all 3 of those games have ended drawn after regulation time. So I just think that goes to show how evenly matched the two teams are. East is a fantastic club. I think our two clubs share the same family values, which has enabled us to form quite a strong bond over the last number of years. This year was the first year that we also took our women's first grade team up to Brisbane to play a series of matches against East. And we've also started to share some best practice between the two clubs, both in terms of hockey and on the administrative side as well. And that's been incredibly valuable, and it's something that I'd love to see happen right across the country, because I think our game can only benefit from it. So that's what Tim had to say, Penny, and your thoughts on ever get to the stage where Australia will host a club championship? Yeah, I think it'd be a great idea. Obviously the Brisbane-Sydney relationship is actually quite tight. As we said, we drew in Tiger Turf Cup, we drew down in RYDE in the Niner side, and we also drew with them in the 11er side. So it'd be great to experience that with teams from Melbourne or Tasmania or Perth even. I think it'd be a good idea. Okay, fantastic. Let's see what happens, I suppose, what the future holds. But the future of this year for the Tigers, how are you looking in 2016? Yeah, fairly unchanged, Tommy. There's a few outs, actually, mainly our strikers. So Dylan Wotherspoon, as we know, is full-time in Perth now. And obviously the Olympic team gets selected in that June-July time. So we'll see what happens there with Dylan. All the best to him. Jacob Webber has taken up a 12-month traineeship with a company over in Ireland. So he'll be intermittently back here. To be sure. Yeah, we're hoping to have him back to play a couple of games throughout the year to get his 6 up so he can come into finals, but his return date's still
unknown to him and us, so we're really just waiting to see. Regards new recruits, we don't really have any in the top grade level. We've got a few guys that have come through from the country into the twos that'll probably sub up for us. But in our first grade team's fairly unchanged except for Spoonie and Webb.
And obviously gives an opportunity for those young East players to make their mark in second grades, and obviously through rep duties to obviously get a run the A grade side.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good chance for the guys that have been playing threes, twos, and then hopefully to get some time in ones to obviously develop them and work on their own hockey as well.
Yeah. So, and taking the captaincy role on, Penny, how do you enjoy that?
Yeah, I actually really enjoy being the captain and leading the boys, I suppose. It's something I always sort of wanted to do as a young guy playing for East, look up at the Jared Blacks and the Adam Kearns and even Wellesley back when he played for East in 05. Something I really enjoy and I'm really quite proud of to be leading the boys.
Penny, thanks for joining us on the host of East Club Day today and the program, and all the best for the 2016 season.
No worries, thanks Tommy.